Coming up on the Thursday edition of LSU Sports Showtime, the men's basketball team kicked off March Madness against Butler. Are they moving out to the next round? And the baseball and softball teams hosted midweek games last night. We'll tell you if both teams got another mark in the wins category. And later, lots of action going on at the Rec last night. We have your highlights and scores from last night's intramural games. All that in your weekend preview. Sports Showtime starts now.
Into the livest game coverage around. I'm talking LSU sports, Showtime in the towns. Get the scoop on the ball and sneak peek on the track. Key in on the field when them Tigers attack. In fact, you get it back a few times a week. But it starts on Tuesday, third day of the week. They're beasts when they broadcast, increase like a fall class. Critique when I speak by my squad in the quad, man. Yeah, they the stars on the quad, man. That's the TVC, Tiger TVP. Every game, every star, every player, every situation they facing the star in the making. And you get it first exclusively. Yeah, I know you feeling me. Who want the latest on the TIGERS? That's the LSU Tigers. We get it sparking like a fire.
Welcome to Sports Showtime, your source for everything LSU athletics. I'm Brian Tompkins. Today I'm joined by two very special guests, our men's college basketball experts, Jason Template and Tim Zimmer. How you doing, guys? Welcome to the show.
Great time to you, Brian.
All right, but before we get to their breakdown of the LSU Butler game, for all you guys that missed the game because of class, we'll get you caught up to speed. Let's take you to the highlights from LSU's opening round matchup with Butler. Tasman Mitchell does things on his own hands early on in the game. He pounds the ball inside, gets a nice little baby hook kind of fadeaway mix to put LSU up 13-3 with 14 minutes to go in the game. Butler would not be outdone as their star player Matt Howard here knocks down 3 points. Butler will get an immediate 2 points here off the offensive rebound, and that would only put the Tigers up by 2 with 7 minutes to go in the game. Marcus Thornton, he's my magician for the day with a flick of his wrist, knocks down 3 points to give the Tigers a 7-point lead with 4 minutes to go in the game. Right before the half, Butler's Gordon Hayward knocks down the 3-point shot here. This would only have the Tigers up by 6. We'll see how they can cope with the lead in the second half. Howard comes back here with the nice play inside for the 2-point layup, and then they get the alley-oop here from Willie Beasley. This will give Butler their first lead of the game. Marcus Thornton, not to be outdone, comes back and makes big shot after big shot. He shot 3 of 4, 75% from behind the arc for the Tigers with his 30 points. The assist here to Chris Johnson as he makes the tough dunk between two Butler players. Butler would not be outdone here as they come back with the layup. Ronald Norrid, it was kind of tough, but he got it to roll in. Butler was up by 1 point again. We catch the action again with 4 minutes to go in the second half. LSU up 2. Marcus Thornton puts the Tigers up 5 with his third 3-point shot of the day. But Hayward would come back, kind of doing the whole Marcus Thornton thing, but for Butler, and he knocks down the 3-point shot. But the game would all come back to fundamentals, and LSU proved to have the upper hand here as they knocked down all their free throws in the game. The Tigers would go on to win the game 75-71. The Tigers will now advance to play the winner of North Carolina and Radford. Marcus Thornton was the player of the game for the Tigers, throwing down 30 points and hitting 7 of 8 from the free throw line. All right, guys, time for some instant analysis on LSU's big win versus Butler in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Jason, you take this first one. What were some keys to victory for the Tigers?
Yeah, I'm going to start out with the SEC Player of the Year, who lived up to that award today, and that's Marcus Thornton. 30 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, and 4 steals. Huge stat line for Marcus. Also, his shot selection was unbelievable today. He shot 5 jump shots, made 5 jump shots, and made 5 layups. Sometimes he falls in love with his jump shot a little too much, but not in this game. Also, the Tigers got out-rebounded on the boards, but didn't get dominated. Butler only had 4 more rebounds than the Tigers, and that's all they needed to do. For being new to the tournament, first-year point guard Bo Spencer handled himself very well. He couldn't find his shot, but only turned the ball over once and dished out 5 assists. For Butler, having one of their best players in foul trouble, Matt Howard, was an absolute disastrous recipe for the Bulldogs.
Well, like you said, Marcus Thornton was MVP of the game, but Chris Johnson was big down the stretch.
Definitely. Free
throws were the key in this game. Johnson has been struggling the past few weeks with his shooting, and today was a big day to step up. Johnson was 4 from 6 from the line, and the team shot 15 from 21 combined. Everyone knew that Butler wasn't going to quit, and that's why I think free throws were the key to the Tigers' victory.
All right, guys, LSU, we found out earlier, LSU will end up taking on North Carolina as they blew out their first-round competition, Radford, the 16th seed, by a score of 101-58. Now, they're a strong 1 seed, and with Ty Lawson, they're an even better opponent. Jason, what can we expect? How do the Tigers match up against North Carolina?
Not well, Brian. Roy Williams, he's just got a stable of horses. And when I say that, I mean athletes. The athletes are just ridiculous for Carolina. People always talk about Tyler Hansbrough. But if he has big numbers, that means UNC is not out and running. And Carolina is just an average half-court team. However, when they're out and running, they are the best team in America by far. Ty Lawson, like you said, Brian, is the key. If he's healthy and can get out in the break often, LSU's in some serious trouble. But if it's a half-court game, Carolina does not possess a good defense, and LSU can win this game if Marcus and Taz give big numbers.
Well, like you said, LSU's going to have a tough matchup against North Carolina. Ty Lawson will probably play in this game, and Hansbrough will have whatever he wants down low. The Tigers have been struggling in the front court all season. I just don't think Johnson's going to be able to guard Hansbrough, and Garrett Temple cannot guard Lawson, Ellington, and Green all at once. As many as LSU fans want the Tigers to pull out the victory, UNC will probably advance to the Sweet 16 and on their way to the Final Four.
All right, guys, so the LSU game was not the only game that's already gone final today. Let's take a look at some of the rest of the scores around the NCAA tournament. Memphis, who believed they deserved the 1 seed, almost found themselves at home for the remainder of the tournament as they squeaked out the victory against Cal State Northridge, thanks to some hot three-point shooting by Robert Sally, who shot 10 of 15 from behind the arc. And in our first upset of the tournament, Big 12 representative Texas A&M took down 8th-seeded BYU by a score of 79-66. A couple of other scores from around the NCAA tournament. Purdue, the 5 seed, does what they're supposed to do as they take down Northern Illinois 61-56. Maryland, the 10th seed, our second upset, takes out Cal 84-71. Chattanooga takes on UConn without Jim Calhoun, but that didn't really matter as UConn blew out Chattanooga 103-47. And just underway, Mississippi State, the 13th seed, versus Washington. Mississippi State, the score is 19, trailing Washington 19-27. All right, guys, looking at today's game, what seemed to stand out in these first-round matchups the most?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Memphis game because that was really a shock. A lot of people's Final Four team was almost, the bracket was almost busted early on. Memphis, they got great production from Robert Sally, 35 points and 10 threes. The stud freshman from Memphis, Tariq Evans, was in foul trouble, and that hindered the Tigers on both ends of the floor, but managed to eke out that win.
Well, like you said, Memphis gave everyone a scare, but Texas A&M, they came ready to play today. A&M came out running as they were up at one point of the game, 15 points. A&M speed and agility were just too much for BYU. Like you said, Brian Davis had 21 points leading the way for the Aggies.
All right, guys, we've already seen 2 upsets so far, so real quick question. Will we see any more upsets in the games that are left to play tonight?
Well, I mean, there's 2 possible upsets I see tonight. VCU has a possibility of beating UCLA, and also Western Kentucky could squeeze one out against Illinois.
I like the game you mentioned that's in place right now. That's Mississippi State versus Washington. Tough game for Mississippi State. They're playing in Portland, not too far from Seattle, but I like the Bulldogs' chances. They're pretty hot right now.
All right, guys, we thank y'all for coming in and filling us in on the madness that is the NCAA tournament in March. Just a reminder, LSU will be taking on North Carolina on Saturday. Make sure to tune in to Sports Showtime next Tuesday as we give you a preview of the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 rounds. When we come back, we'll have recaps of all the action that took place around campus last night. Stay tuned. This is Sports Showtime on Tiger TV.